5 people are sitting around a campfire. Same air, same night, same distance from the flames. And one of them is being eaten alive, while the other 4 don't get touched. You've seen this happen. Maybe you've been that person. Slapping your arms every few seconds while your friends just sit there, completely fine, mildly amused at your suffering. It feels random. It feels unfair. But here's a question almost nobody actually looks into. Is it actually random? Or is your body sending out a signal the rest of the group simply isn't? The answer involves your blood, your breath, your skin, and your genes. And once you understand it, you'll never look at a mosquito bite the same way again. Let's start with the most basic fact. Not every mosquito out there is even interested in biting you. Only female mosquitoes bite. They need protein from blood to develop their eggs after mating. The males just drink nectar and go about their lives. So every itchy red bump you've ever had came from a female mosquito on a mission. And she is not choosing randomly. She is running a targeting system built over millions of years that scans everyone around that campfire and ranks them. The first signal she uses is carbon dioxide. Every human exhales carbon dioxide, and we produce more of it when we are active, like during exercise. This is actually the oldest mosquito detection trick we know of. Scientists have understood for over 100 years that carbon dioxide is the very first signal that triggers a mosquito's hunting behavior, often from dozens of meters away. So if you've ever noticed mosquitoes seem to find you faster when you're breathing heavily or right after a workout, that's not your imagination. You are louder, chemically, than the people sitting still beside you. But carbon dioxide only gets the mosquito in the general area. It doesn't tell her who specifically to land on. For that, she needs something more precise. That's where heat comes in. Mosquitoes are drawn to people with higher body temperatures. And as a mosquito gets closer, it can detect heat and water vapor coming off your skin, which plays a role in whether it decides to land. Researchers have even found that mosquitoes move toward nearby heat sources that sit at a specific preferred temperature. So if you run warmer than your friends, if you've just exercised, or if you're simply built to radiate more body heat, you are quite literally a brighter target on her thermal map. And here's a strange detail. Mosquitoes detect that heat using sensors located on their legs. They are reading the temperature of the air around you before they've even decided to land. So far, this explains why one tired, overheated person at a campfire might get bitten more than someone who just walked over. But it doesn't explain why the same person gets eaten every single time, year after year, regardless of how active they are. For that, we need to go deeper, into smell. This is where it gets interesting, because smell is not one signal. It's hundreds. Humans release somewhere between 300 and 1000 different odorous compounds, and scientists are only beginning to understand which specific ones attract mosquitoes. In one major study, researchers identified 27 separate compounds out of that massive list that mosquitoes specifically detect and use to decide who to bite. Some people produce more of these compounds, some people produce less. And the difference isn't something you can control with a shower. One of the clearest signals comes from your skin oil. Researchers studying women in a lab found that the ones mosquitoes preferred to bite most, which, notably, included women in their second trimester of pregnancy, produced unusually large amounts of a particular compound created when skin oil, or sebum, breaks down. In other words, your skin is constantly producing a chemical signature, and some signatures read to a mosquito like a 5-star restaurant. There's also your skin bacteria. Studies have shown that people with certain types of skin bacteria are simply more attractive to mosquitoes, which means the invisible ecosystem of microbes living on your arms and legs right now might be the actual reason you're the one getting bitten and your friend isn't. You're not imagining it. Your skin's microbiome is doing something theirs isn't. And then there's blood type, which is the detail most people have heard a rumor about but never actually confirmed. It turns out the rumor is real. Multiple studies show mosquitoes prefer people with type O blood, landing on them nearly twice as often as people with type A. Scientists aren't entirely sure why, but they suspect it has something to do with differences in skin secretions or saliva between blood types. So if you've ever wondered why your blood type comes up in casual conversation about mosquito bites, this is why. It's not folklore, it's a measurable pattern. Now here's where the story gets genuinely strange. Because all of this, heat, breath, skin oil, bacteria, blood type, raises an obvious question. If these signals are this specific, are some people just born more attractive to mosquitoes? Is this something in your genes? In 2015, researchers at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine ran an experiment to find out. They tested 18 sets of identical twins and 19 sets of non-identical twins, having each twin place a hand into a Y-shaped tube, while mosquitoes were released to fly toward whichever scent attracted them more. The logic was simple. Identical twins share virtually all their DNA. Non-identical twins share far less. If genetics played a role in mosquito attraction, identical twins should be almost equally attractive to mosquitoes, while non-identical twins should differ. That is exactly what happened. The identical twins turned out to be equally attractive to mosquitoes, while some of the non-identical twin pairs were far less likely to be bitten than their siblings. When researchers calculated the numbers, they found a heritability of 0.62 for how attractive someone is to mosquitoes. To put that in perspective, that puts your mosquito attractiveness in the same genetic territory as your height and your IQ. This is not a small effect. This is one of your traits that mosquitoes can read almost as reliably as a fingerprint. So if you're the one who always gets bitten, you can stop blaming bad luck. You were, in a very real sense, born more delicious. But why would mosquitoes evolve this specific, highly selective targeting system in the first place? Why not just bite whoever's nearest? Because for a mosquito, biting the wrong target can be fatal. Landing on skin means exposing yourself completely for several uninterrupted seconds to a creature that might simply slap you out of existence. Natural selection has spent millions of years refining a system that lets a 3 mg insect identify from meters away which specific human is most likely to provide a successful meal with the least resistance and the richest reward. The mosquito biting your friend less than you isn't an accident. It's the end result of an ancient, ruthless filtering process running in real time every single night. And there's one more twist that almost nobody knows. Beer changes the equation entirely. A Japanese study found that drinking just a single beer increased the number of mosquito bites a person received by roughly 30%, possibly because of the rise in body heat or the shift in sweat odor that alcohol produces. So that friend who always gets bitten worse after a few drinks at the campfire isn't unlucky either. Their body chemistry is actively broadcasting a louder signal than before. Which brings us back to that group of 5 people around the fire. The one getting eaten alive isn't cursed, and the 4 who are untouched aren't lucky. Every person at that fire is emitting a slightly different chemical cocktail, a different heat signature, a different blood type, a different bacterial colony living quietly on their skin, and a mosquito flying through the dark is reading every single one of those signals before she ever lands. You've spent your whole life thinking mosquitoes just happen to find you. The truth is stranger and somehow more personal. You were built down to your DNA to be exactly this attractive or exactly this unappealing to a creature you'll never see coming. The itch isn't random, it's a verdict.